Shalom. We are the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, at the Commander General High. And today's topic is the judgments of the Most High, which the Christian church will not teach you these judgments because that would require of them to actually really love the people that they're over. You see what I'm saying? And it will also, the judgments will make us separate, and they will make us wise. You see what I'm saying? Our whole nation will become wise, and we would have no choice but to separate. You see what I'm saying? Because the white man is the devil. So instead of going on the Most High's judgments, what we actually do is we go on the judgments of the white man. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the evil things that we do. We choose the white man's judgment, and we'll go to court with the white man when we have an issue with our brother, knowing that the white man's the devil and the evil things that he's done to us all throughout history. We'll still do that. Now, we're going to start with Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 1. Now, these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments. You see this? Now, you have congregations, you have Christian groups out there, and all of these fake Israelite groups, they'll teach certain things of the law, like they'll teach you the feast days, they'll teach, this and that, in the law, but they won't teach these judgments. You see what I'm saying? They'll teach statutes, they'll teach fringes, but as far as the judgments, they'll stay away from that. You see what I'm saying? Which the Lord your God command to teach you, that ye might do in whether ye go to possess it. You see what I'm saying? Well, I know they'll say, well, we ain't in the land yet. We ain't in the land, but here's the thing, though. You have to practice now. You see what I'm saying? Rehearsal time is now. That's what it means to also to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and the judgments, to bind them up in your heart, to meditate upon them. You see what I'm saying? Once you do that, that's going to produce the actions of carrying this stuff out. You see what I'm saying? And this stuff is real important nowadays because the white man is the devil, and he's got his foot on our neck because we're not keeping this. You see what I'm saying? That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. This stuff is also to keep your days prolonged. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a curse that comes behind not keeping it. All right? Well, what we're going to deal with, though, we're going to deal with the judgments of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Now, the judgment, it ain't just talking about, wrath being carried out. No, the judgment is discern, discerning. You see what I'm saying? Being able to judge, just like when it said Deborah judged Israel. What did she do? She handled affairs between one brother and another. You see what I'm saying? Or one sister and another. Over whatever the deal was. You see what I'm saying? Just like what a mother would do with her children. You see what I'm saying? The mother would take, the two. Well, he did this and he did that. He took my toy. Then she'll find out the matter and she'll say, okay, give him his toy. That's his toy. Give him his toy back. She's judging that matter. You see what I'm saying? And she's sentencing that one to give the toy back to his brother. You see what I'm saying? When people got it confused, they think, Deborah was a war general. She was a war captain and all of that. They say all kinds of stuff. But what she had was the judgments of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? She knew his judgments. That's why she could judge one matter from another. And the people went to her for judgment because she kept these judgments she meditated upon. You see what I'm saying? That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Now, let's go to, I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Because see what this actually is, what's going on in Corinth Chronicles. Salaki, give me a sec. Okay, what's going on in Corinthians is this is the precursor to the Christian church. What's going on in the church here? And the Apostle Paul had to give, out his judgment concerning these matters here. Right? Okay. It is reported, 1 Chronicles chapter 5 and verse 1. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. Now, what was the judgment concerning that? That man was to be put to death. But see, at this time, we wasn't putting anybody to death, right? The Apostle Paul's judgment was to sever that man from that congregation, pretty much to kick him out. You see what I'm saying? And ye are puffed up, and have not rather mourned. Now, what are they? They're just like the Christian church is today. Puffed up. You see what I'm saying? And they turning a blind eye. You see? That he might be taken. For I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged already. You see what I'm saying? And this also cuts the Christian church, which with the way that they do away with the Most High's judgments is by saying, what they say, judge not, lest ye be judged. And they can't even quote it right, but you judge not, lest ye be judged. By the same standard to judge, they saying all that, right? But what the Apostle Paul here says, for I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged already. He said he has judged this matter, so that cuts them. You see what I'm saying? As though I were present concerning him that has so done this deed. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, when ye are gathered together in my spirit, with the power of our Lord Jesus Christ, to deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh. You see what I'm saying? This is the judgment that he gave, right? He pretty much told them to cast him out of the congregation for the destruction of the flesh, because what was he? That man was the flesh. You see what I'm saying? Pretty much saying, sell out of the flesh so that the spirit can be saved. What is the spirit that he's talking about? That whole body. You see what I'm saying? That the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Jesus. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened, for even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us. You see what I'm saying? The Christian church, they won't do these type of judgments right here. They won't do these judgments. They turn a blind eye to the Most High's judgments. You see what I'm saying? They won't even go into them. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote unto you in an epistle, not to keep company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous. You see, there's the covetous, because a lot of people inside the church are covetous. You know, one man's coveting another man's wife. One woman coveting, coveting positions. You see what I'm saying? They coveting this person treasurer of the church, and he's trying. A lot of times it's a she that's trying to be the treasurer. She's sitting there trying to knock somebody else out of the position so that she can take it. But these things go unaddressed because they will not do the judgments. You see what I'm saying? They will not send the correction that comes behind the judgments of the Most High. And they teach our whole nation not to do it. Regardless of whether you're inside the Christian church or not. People don't understand the Christian church has influence outside the church upon people that's never even been in a physical church before. You see what I'm saying? That's why the white man pays them so much. You know, that's why Planned Parenthood pays the churches. Because you can have a sister out there, you know, that's never even set foot in a church. But at the same time, from the policy and the teaching that comes from the Christian church, this same woman will have an abortion. You see what I'm saying? Because Planned Parenthood tells the Christian church not to teach that it's wrong, that it's murder. You see what I'm saying? Or extortioners. Now, what is extortion? One example of extortion is child support. You see what I'm saying? The Christian church hate the judgments of the Most High so badly that they will not tell the women inside the church that have brothers on child support, they will not preach against it. You see what I'm saying? They will have her to think that it's her right to extort that man. Because that's what extortion is. Extortion is when you tell somebody, you pay me, or, you know, you pay me, you keep paying, continually pay me this, just like what the mob used to do. You see what I'm saying? What would the mobs do? They would extort people. You see what I'm saying? You know, if you lent money if you borrowed money from them, you have to continually keep paying them and keep paying them and keep paying them. You see what I'm saying? That is extortion. That's what child support is. You see what I'm saying? Just because you had a child with this woman and y'all not together no more, now she run down to the white man and puts the man on child support. Now he has to pay $150 out of his check every week until that child's 18. And also, if the child goes to college, then in some places it's 26. He'll have to pay child support for that child clear up until he's 26 years old. You see what I'm saying? You got brothers that's done been to jail that stop paying child support at like 18, and then next thing you know, he look up, he's 8 years behind on child support, and he goes to jail. You see what I'm saying? This says, or with the covetous or extortioners, or with idolaters. For then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. It says not to keep company. The woman that got her man on child support, they're not even supposed to keep company with that woman, really, if she don't repent of that. Because she is an extortioner. You see what I'm saying? If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such a one know not to eat. There's no agreement between you and that person. That's an extortioner. You see what I'm saying? There's no agreement between y'all two. You see what I'm saying? For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? Because you have, like fake Israelite groups they'll judge the brothers and sisters out there in the world, but then they won't handle the situations that are inside their own congregations. You see what I'm saying? They won't judge those matters. But they'll sit there and judge, the brothers that's out there in the world all day long. You see what I'm saying? Do not ye judge them that are within, but them that are without, God judgeth. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person. Pretty much saying, let that person, that man that was sleeping with his father's wife, you know what I'm saying, ostracize that dude. You see what I'm saying? And the Most High will handle him. Now, and that goes into this. Now this is real court. This is how real court should be handled right here as we go into the 6th chapter. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust? Who is the unjust that it's talking about here? The unjust is talking about here is going to the white man. Going with the white man. This brother owe you money, now you're taking him to small claims court. Both of y'all are part of the same congregation or whatever. They won't even judge the matter. You see what I'm saying? That stuff is supposed to be brought, before the governing body. But instead, what did the Christian church teach us to do? They teach us to go bring the stuff before the white man and let him do the judgment. You see what I'm saying? And not before the saints? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? Because when we're on top, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be judging between nation and nation. You see what I'm saying? That's why I was saying before, this is practice time. I mean, how you going to rule if you're not in rehearsal now? You see what I'm saying? How you think the Lord's just going to snap his fingers and you're just going to be ruling and that's just going to happen just like that? No, it's not how it happens. You got to, anything you do, you got to train. You got to be trained in it. Just like a judge, that's in the world, or some Edomite judge or whatever. He has to go through the law. He has to be a rehearsal, he has to rehearse the laws and the judgments before he sits up on the damn bench. You see what I'm saying? Before he sits and knows how to slam that hammer, he's got to know he's got to be practicing law. You see what I'm saying? Well, it's the same way with us. We got to be in this thing now. You see what I'm saying? We just can't sit there and say, well, you just go wait till we get to the land. What you accumulate now is what you're gonna take to the seat of judgment, so you can judge the nations. Now, how you gonna judge the nations if you don't want to know the Most High's judgments? You see what I'm saying? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye not unworthy to judge the smallest matters? You see what I'm saying? What's the Apostle Paul telling him? He's like, if the whole world is going to be judged by you, you should be able to judge the smallest matters within inside this congregation. You see what I'm saying? Then, like I said, this is the rehearsal time. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Apostle Paul is telling them to do. He's like, rehearse these judgments. Judge the matters within inside there so that you have the judgments in you so that you can be able to judge the nations. You see what I'm saying? Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. What does this mean? The men that are least esteemed, because you know why? Because everybody in the congregation is supposed to know the Most High's judgments. Now, see, if you're not taught to learn the judgments and all of that. In this case, you can't take the least esteemed person and have him judge anything, because he's going to judge just like the Christian church judges and just like the white man judges. You see what I'm saying? He's going to go on the white man's version of, whether something's right or wrong. You see what I'm saying? Set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. Now, what would they do? They would do, see, the Christian church, what do they teach you? They teach you to do the direct opposite of that, right? They'll take the most charismatic, the one with the best job. You see what I'm saying? And they will put him, and try and put him as something up high. You see what I'm saying? When really, in reality, you're supposed to take the least esteemed, that's full of the Most High's laws. You see what I'm saying? And they're supposed to be able to judge matters. Because everybody's supposed to know the judgments from the greatest unto the least. You see what I'm saying? But will the Christian church teach you this? No. And if you come in there with this teaching, you know what they're going to do? And they're in their willing ignorance, they're going to call you a Muslim or something. You see what I'm saying? The Christian church is not a place to get wise. You come in and you point something out of the Bible and they calling you a Muslim. You see what I'm saying? I can see it if you had the Quran, you know what I'm saying, and pointing something out of the Quran and try to put the Quran against the Bible. Yeah, I mean, they could call you a Muslim then. But if you come in with something fresh out of the Bible that they can see, you know what I'm saying, plain as day, the Christian church is so stupid that they're going to call you a Muslim. You see what I'm saying? That's how stupid they are. And once you see this, once you start to say, all you people that go to the Christian church, you're going to start to see this. You see, or a lot of you have seen it already. You know what I'm saying is right. The Christian church is a place where you go to get stupid. It's not where you go to get wise. It's not where you go to get knowledge. You're not going to get anything from there. As a matter of fact, if you're going to hang out there, what you did learn before you got there is going to be stripped from you. You see what I'm saying? It's a place to get you dumb. That's what it is. It makes the pastor comfortable if you're stupid. You see what I'm saying? If he's comfortable, he's rest assured that his money is going to keep coming. You see what I'm saying? Your influence will be, abated. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to get out of the Christian church and get into the Isupk. That's why you got to do that. I speak to your shame. Now, where is this at? This is in the New Testament. All the people that say that the judgments and all of that's done away with, this is New Testament right here. You see what I'm saying? So, now the Apostle Paul is telling them to judge the matters. So, what is he telling them to do? He's telling them to go into the law of the Old to judge, you know what I'm saying, the New Testament church. You see what I'm saying? All you all you New Testament Christians that believe that the Old Testament is done away with, how the hell how you going to judge something if the Old Testament is done away with? The Apostle Paul will be telling you to do something that will be impossible. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? Now, what does he call a wise man here? What is the Apostle Paul in the New Testament calling a wise man here? He's calling a wise man a man that studies the judgments that are in the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying? That's why he says, is there not a wise man among you? What is he saying? He's saying, is there not a man that understands the judgments of the Most High among you? That's what he's saying right there. And he calls that man a wise man. You see what I'm saying? If the Apostle Paul calls the man that understands the Most High's judgment a wise man, what is your preacher? Your pastor is the direct opposite of that. Your pastor is a fool. You see what I'm saying? Because the man that doesn't know the judgments of the Most High, what is he? He's a fool, and your pastor don't know them. And nor does he's not just straight up ignorant of them, he's willingly ignorant of them. You see what I'm saying? Because he's not about getting wisdom. His wisdom is only based on how to hustle, how to get money. You know what I'm saying? Just like the dude out there selling dope. And your pastor is covetous. You see what I'm saying? Why is he covetous? Because he wants a piece of the white man's glory, the piece of your enemy's glory. You see what I'm saying? And he wants your wife. That's why he tells her not to listen to you. Because if he can get her not to listen to you, then he can take her for whatever she has. You see what I'm saying? She will become his person, his servant. You know, just like what you're doing with the white man. Just like she'll obey her boss at work before you, she will also obey her Christian pastor before you also. You see what I'm saying? She won't give you her check, but she'll give it to him. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren? You see what I'm saying? What is Apostle Paul telling them? Because this church right here, what they're doing is the precursor to why the churches, you know, why these congregations today are all messed up. You see what I'm saying? This is the trickle that started the flood. The Apostle Paul is getting them back in line. You see what I'm saying? But brother goeth to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers. You see what I'm saying? People that don't want, the brother is going against brother and going before people that don't want a damn thing to do with the law, statutes, and commandments, and the judgments. And they going to them for justice. You see what I'm saying? And what are you going to get there? Well, how do they judge? They judge in favor of the rich. You see what I'm saying? They judge in the favor. Now, you know, you go before a white man in court, you know, especially a middle class, when he's middle class white men, you go and you, a poor black man, you got to go to court, you know, against him or something, or he's coming against you. They're going to judge in his favor. You see what I'm saying? Because of his status. Well, our judgments were not so. You see what I'm saying? That's why we was told in the scriptures to be not a respecter of persons, of the poor or of the rich. You know what I'm saying? We're not to be a respecter of persons. We're supposed to give just judgment, period. You see what I'm saying? Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. You see what I'm saying? Why do you not rather take wrong? Now the Apostle Paul's taking this to another level right here. You see what I'm saying? Now what he's saying is, all right, it's lawful for a man, like say for instance, a man was hungry and he took somebody's, cow, or sheep and cooked it and ate it because he was hungry, right? Now, would it be lawful to bring that man into the court about that situation? Yeah, according to the letter of the law, yes, it would be lawful, right? But you gotta understand something. Love, you know what I'm saying? The love of your brother everything even surpasses that. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Apostle Paul says in this verse, in verse 7, now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? Now what love would actually do is be like, damn, that brother was hungry, man. That brother, he was desperate enough to take a sheep, you know what I'm saying, and then cook it and eat it, you know what I'm saying, and he came and pleaded his cause, right? What would love do? You see what I'm saying? Love would be like, damn, well, I got to get this brother something, I got to get him something to eat. Not only should I not take him to court, you see what I'm saying, but I got to make sure that this brother, you know what I'm saying, is all right. You see, that right there is, you know what I'm saying, that's how you start to turn from death to life. You see what I'm saying? You know, that's why it says, because ye go to law one with another. Why do you not rather take the wrong? Why don't you just take the damn wrong? You see what I'm saying? The man was hungry. Like I was saying, and find out what you can actually do so that he ain't got to try to steal no sheep from no damn body else. You see what I'm saying? Because what are the laws that trump, that are at the top? You know what I'm saying? To have no other gods before the Most High, right? And also too, if the nastier man that would take that man to court is angry about it, how he took his sheep, and he's angry about it, he's going to court, and he's like, I'm lawful in going to court, because that was my sheep. He is to repay me back, for a sheep, because he stole my one sheep. But you have to love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, and strength, and you understand that brother right there is your brother, and he's one of the Most High's children also. And then to love your neighbor as you love yourself, because one thing, you wouldn't want to be dragged before the damn court yourself if you didn't have anything. You see what I'm saying? You didn't have nothing. You wouldn't, and you just got so desperate where you stole something to eat. You wouldn't want nobody dragging you to court, so why would you do that? That's why the Apostle Paul says here in this verse, why do you not rather take the wrong? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? You see what I'm saying? Nay, ye do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. You see this? Even though it's lawful, this man's intentions wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? These people, even though it's lawful to take them to court, but before the unjust, you're not supposed to do it. You see what I'm saying? But even if he's trying to drag him to court before the congregation and everything, when this man took something out of his desperation or whatever the case is, the example that I gave, right? That will still show that you're not loving your neighbors, you love yourself. And the Most High sees the intentions of the heart, even though according to the letter of the law, you might seem like you're doing something right. You see what I'm saying? That's how the scribes and the Pharisees and everything work. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers. What is it talking about? The covenant breakers, right? He's calling them this. He said neither fornicators nor idolaters, right? Because even if that man drugged this man before the courts for this situation, that man a lot of times worships his goods. You see what I'm saying? His goods that he's accumulated is the greatest thing to him, which makes him an idolater. And it will make him a adulterer because he is a covenant breaker because he broke the covenant from the Most High to worship his goods. You see what I'm saying? So much so that sheep became more important to him than his own brother that needed the damn sheep. You see what I'm saying? Nor effeminate. Right? What does this talk about effeminate? It's simply a man that doesn't think like a man. You drug the brother before court, right? All emotional and foamed up. You know what I'm saying? Driving him on pure emotion. Just like some hard-headed woman. You're doing the same damn thing. That's why I said nor effeminate. Right? Nor abusers of themselves with mankind. Nor thieves. Nor covetous. Nor drunkards. Nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. Now, let's go into the judgments, right? Exodus chapter 21. Here we go. Exodus chapter 21, and we're gonna start like the first verse. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve. All right. Now, when we on top and we in the kingdom, right? Now, like say for instance, we know that the Christian pastors and all the people that are up high right now, all the celebrities and all of that, are going to be brought down low, right? And we are going to be the next governing body. We are going to be the next voice of black people. And we will be the ones that will be judging matters and all of that, right? And we know that the Christian pastor is going to be brought down to the bottom. But here's the thing, though. Even the ones that are based and brought down to the bottom are not going to be treated as a heathen slave. You see what I'm saying? Because, I mean, you have a lot of brothers out there, you know what I'm saying, that'll want to have the Christian pastor and his children as their slaves. But it's unlawful for us to enslave each other. You see what I'm saying? Example, during the time of when there was a war between Judah and Israel. And Israel lit Judah up, something horrible, and then took us as captives and wanted to make us their slaves. Then came a prophet and said, how y'all gonna sit there and take them, because the Lord was angry with Judah, he delivered them into your hand. He said, but you also have sins against the Lord. You see what I'm saying? So at that time, to cut it short, Ephraim, they had started to treat, clothe us and all of that, you know what I'm saying, and give us food and do such and such, and started treating us well. You see what I'm saying? Because we're not supposed to be enslaving one another. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference between the way that you treat a Hebrew from the way that you treat a heathen. You see what I'm saying? You're not allowed to enslave your own people. That's why this says here. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, if you don't sit there, and you bought this servant, right? and you done paid money for him, 6 years he shall serve. You see this? He can only serve you for 6 years. Well, if you enslave a heathen, hell, he can serve you for the rest of his damn life. You see what I'm saying? Just like we served the white man. You see what I'm saying? From the time that we was born up until the time that we died. As did our great-great-great-great-grandfathers. You see what I'm saying? 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. What does this mean for nothing? It means he doesn't have to buy his freedom. That's what it means, he should go out free for nothing. You see what I'm saying? If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. You see this? Now, what I'm going to do also, too, I'm going to couple this right here. I think it's Deuteronomy 15. Now, check this out. These are judgments right here. Deuteronomy, we'll go to Deuteronomy 15 and 1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. You see this? This is the Most High's judgment. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. Of a foreigner, thou mayest exact it again. If a person's a foreigner, right? He's a stranger, a heathen, and he had borrowed money from you in the year of release, you can say, hey, you owe me. I want my money. But your brother, though, your Hebrew brother, you can't do that. You know why? Because this is the Lord's release right here. You see what I'm saying? These are the judgments that make us strong. You see what I'm saying? Now, how that man that owes you all of this money, how is he going to feel when that debt is cleared? He's going to feel great, and he's going to bless the Lord in his heart. You see what I'm saying? But that foreigner, that stranger, that heathen, you give me my money. You see what I'm saying? But that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release. Save when there shall be no poor among you. For the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe to do all these commandments. Now check this, because I'm gonna go down to verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren. Now think about it now. If we in the kingdom, right, and there's a poor man of one of our brethren, he's a Hebrew of whatever tribe, right? If there be a poor among you, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart. But what did the Christian church tell you to do, right? The Christian church, they pretty much tell you indirectly to harden your heart. You see what I'm saying? That poor black man outside that church, that he's an eyesore to the people that come out that church, Sunday afternoon. You see what I'm saying? They look at him and roll their eyes. Thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, in that which he wanteth. Now, the Most High said, when we are in the land and we wealthy, and there's still, because there's still going to be some brothers that's going to be, poor, right? By, whatever, his goods got confiscated, something happened to where he was made poor. It happened to us, it happened to us quite a bit throughout history, right? Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thy eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and there shall be sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy need in thy land. If thy brother be a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee. Now this is coupling with what we just read in Exodus, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. He used to let him go in that 7th year, right? Because, like I was saying, that's the year of the Lord's release. You see what I'm saying? These judgments right here are wise and going to make us, real good in our dealings. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, because as we read, he shall go out for nothing, right? Thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock. You see this? It says we shall furnish, because you're a man with abundance, and that man's to serve you for 6 years straight, right? And you bought him with money, even though he was poor. You see what I'm saying? Even though he was poor, he was made poor for whatever reason, you have him serve you, and then when he's leaving out, he leaves with the accumulation of the things that y'all agreed upon in that 7th year. He leaves with that stuff, regardless. He leaves with sheep, he leaves with goats. You see what I'm saying? He leaves with, servants of his own. You see what I'm saying? That poor man served and now has the foundation to make himself great. You see what I'm saying? He's leaving with an inheritance for his grandchildren. You see what I'm saying? And out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, and thou shalt give unto him. And that man who was poor, who had rags on, when he came up to you, now in the 7th year has done left out a rich man. You see what I'm saying? Because he's been tending to your flocks, through those 7 years. He's done pressed your wine, you know what I'm saying? He done mashed the grapes for your wine, and he done did all of this and all of that. Now he's leaving with a big chunk of, of everything that he's done helped you with in those 6 years. These are the Lord's judgments right here. This is how, but with a stranger, you ain't got to do this. This is only with your people, because you're not going to be enslaving your own. You see what I'm saying? thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. The Christian church wouldn't even dare touch this. You see what I'm saying? The fake Israelite groups, they wouldn't dare touch this. They won't meditate upon this, even though they claim to be keeping the laws themselves. You see what I'm saying? But they won't teach this and have people's heart to get prepared for when we get the kingdom, and some of us have been, have abundance and all of that, so that he would automatically know what to do, with his brother that has been made poor and has come to him to work for him, or him being bought by you for money. You see what I'm saying? If you bought this brother with money, he's not to be your slave for the rest of his life. You see what I'm saying? Of that therewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him, and thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Now we also have to remember. We have to remember our slavery here. You see what I'm saying? We got to remember that we were servants here in America, and how harshly we were treated. You see what I'm saying? And how, and how we were done evil. And that brother would be a descendant of the same people that served, here in America. You know what I'm saying? That had some little greasy job that couldn't even make ends meet. You see what I'm saying? We are supposed to remember that, so that we don't start to abuse our brother that's going to be serving us for the 6 years. These are the judgments of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. And it shall be, if he say unto thee. Now this is another situation coming about, right? He's like, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee. You know why? Now, what would make this brother feel like this? Because you didn't treat him like a slave. You treated him as a brother. You see what I'm saying? So much so that y'all done made a friendship, a bond, even though he's the son, the descendant of this evil Christian pastor. You see what I'm saying? And you are, you are the son of a general in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. You're the descendant of that. You see what I'm saying? That man is still your brother. You see what I'm saying? And y'all became, and he done served you for these 6 years, and because you keep the judgments and the laws of the Most High, you treated him as a brother and not as a slave. Now he thinks in his mind, he's like, man, look, because y'all done developed such a bond. You see what I'm saying? Y'all done developed, like y'all done became like David and Jonathan. You see what I'm saying? So now he's like, man, look, I ain't trying to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You my brother, you know what I'm saying? You done treated me great. We done became close as hell in these past 6 years. You see what I'm saying? Now, it says, and it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thy house. He's like, man, look, y'all been so good to me and everything, y'all been such a great family, he's like family. You see what I'm saying? Well, actually, he is family, even though he's not like a direct brother, you see what I'm saying, of this man. Because he is well with thee. Then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door. And he shall be, now, what is the awl? The awl is a gold loop earring. You see what I'm saying? Just like with a lot of, when some brothers be wearing now, wear the earrings. You see what I'm saying? Then you thrust this through with the awl. and he shall be thy servant forever. Now what does this mean? That means, just like say for instance, you have the top ruling families, and they'll have, some family that's working for them, that's working, that's working with them, or whatever. Like say for instance, just any filthy rich family will make allegiance with another family who started out as being like their servants. You see what I'm saying? Working for them, and they done been able to buy into the company, and and he has children, and and they like merge together. You see what I'm saying? Like say for instance, J.P. Morgan and Chase. You see what I'm saying? One of the two were the richer of the two. You see what I'm saying? Medo-Persian. You see what I'm saying? The two houses are united. And he shall be thy servant forever. That's what it means, that he shall be thy servant forever. You see what I'm saying? They'll mess around and be marrying, into each other's families, you know what I'm saying? And all of that. Just like people from J.P. Morgan marrying to the Chase family, they joining their forces together. It's just so that one is just greater than the other. You see what I'm saying? Or it could end up that the servant end up becoming richer, you know what I'm saying? Getting all of this wealth and all of that, right? Even more so than what the house that owns him does. But the two are still joined. You see what I'm saying? And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. It shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away free from thee, for he hath been worth a double hired servant unto thee, in serving thee 6 years. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest. Now, when Jacob served Laban, Laban knew this law. You see what I'm saying? Laban was the son of Nahor, Abraham's brother. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Lord was angry with Laban when he was changing Jacob's wages 10 times. When he kept playing games with his money and all of that. And then trying to make him serve for the next 7 years. You see what I'm saying? The Lord set the judgment upon that. Laban's house became poor while Jacob became super rich because Laban was wrong, because Laban knew that he was wrong. You see what I'm saying? All the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock, thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep, because these things belong to the Lord. Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God year by year in the place which the Lord shall choose, thou and thy household. Now think about this for a second. Now imagine you got you got all of this abundance of all of this cattle and all of that, and your firstling, of your herds and all that, you got to sanctify that. You separate that, and then because of feast all throughout. Now imagine that everybody that has great substance is doing this. That makes a feast like you wouldn't believe. You see what I'm saying? That that way right there, that people that was brought low and poor will be able to eat fat. You see what I'm saying? Thou and thy household, if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sanctify it unto the Lord thy God. If it has any blemish or whatever, do not to sanctify that to the Lord. Now, let's go back to Exodus. I'm going to go to Exodus. Let's see. We'll start at Exodus. Let's see. We'll go to Exodus 22:7. These things will make us wise. We are to rehearse these things and to think about them all the time. You see what I'm saying? These judgments right here. We're supposed to be thinking about this stuff so much so that we'll dream about this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Exodus chapter 22 and verse 7. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, right? He done delivered this to his neighbor, some money, some things to keep or whatever for him, and it be stolen out of the man's house. If the thief be found, let him pay double. Now, see, that's the judgment of the Lord right there. Now, what did the judgment of the land say? It say just pay back what you stole, right? But according to the judgments of the Most High, you are supposed to pay back double. The thief is supposed to pay back double. You see what I'm saying? Well, let me read that again. And if a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. If he stole $100, he's to pay back $200. These are the Lord's judgments. You see what I'm saying? But the Christian church, they don't know these. You see what I'm saying? They go on the judgment of the white man. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges. Oh, does it say unto the Gentiles? Does it say unto the courts? No. He's to be brought between. What judges is it talking about? It's not talking about Judge Goldstein or Weinstein. It's not talking about that. You see what I'm saying? It's talking about you being brought before the elders, you know what I'm saying, the people that do judgment, you know what I'm saying, of this nation, right? You're to be brought before them. You're to be brought before the officers, you know what I'm saying, captains, generals, or whatever the case is. In the Isupk, really, because we the only ones that really know these things. We the only ones that really know the judgments. The other Christians, they don't. The fake Israelite groups, they don't care nothing for this because they're Christian. You see what I'm saying? They go on the judgments of the Christian church, who goes in the judgments of the white man, to see whether he have put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. What are they to do? They're to figure. To seek out the matter. You see what I'm saying? Ask questions. Right? Because the goods were stolen, so now they got to pretty much interrogate this man. You see what I'm saying? And, check and find out whether he actually took the stuff himself, you know what I'm saying, and say somebody else did it. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challengeth to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges. And whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to 22, and I'm going to go to the first verse. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Means if he took an ox, right, he is to repay 5 oxen back. If he took a sheep, he is to pay 4 sheep back. This will stop stealing. You see what I'm saying? Because if you don't have the oxen to pay back, you have to work that off until whatever, y'all agree upon, that's the equivalent of 5 oxen. You see what I'm saying? If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. You see what I'm saying? It says, if a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. Now, if he's caught stealing somebody's oxen or sheep or whatever, and the person shoots him, you know what I'm saying, no blood should be shed for him, right? But watch, as we go further into the judgment, if the sun be risen up on him, there shall be blood shed for him. Now, if you have a man that is starving, right? Now, this man is starving, and the man, knows the law, right? And he will go in the daytime. That's proof that that man is hungry. You see what I'm saying? But if a man goes at nighttime, then he's pretty much, that man's pretty much trying to steal. Just trying to steal, he waiting until the sun go down to this night, and then he going and loosening his oxen and carrying it away and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But if a man do it in the daytime where he can be seen, that the man is just hungry, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why this judgment says blood will be shed for him if he's killed. If he's breaking up an ox, or a sheep and unloosing it and doing this in the daytime, and you shoot him in the daytime and kill him, blood is going to be shed for him then. You see what I'm saying? But if he's doing it at night, then blood will not be shed for him. Because thieves strike at night. The man that did it in the daytime wasn't a thief. That was a man just damn. You see what I'm saying? That's more like a cry for help. If the brother goes in broad daylight, you see what I'm saying, and starts to try to steal somebody's sheep in broad daylight where he can be seen, you know what I'm saying? That is a man that's doing what he's doing out of desperation. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Apostle Paul said, why not let yourselves be defrauded? You see what I'm saying? Then he shall be sold for, because if he, like I said before, taking an ox, right? And if in the daytime he's taking the ox, he's to repay the 5 oxen, right? But if he doesn't have it, he's to strike a deal with the person that he's taking the ox from until he works off the debt. You see what I'm saying? And the compassion of that man, right, that's getting his ox stolen, he knows that this man was hungry, man. You see what I'm saying? So if that man serves him for 6 years, right, then in the 7th year, that man could go out with a nice amount of stuff so he ain't got to go and steal no more. And he can go out and do the same, give some other thief the same opportunity as he had. These are the most highest judgments. The Christian church hates these judgments. You see what I'm saying? And another reason why, because the goodness here that these judgments do for us do not include the heathens, the Gentiles. That's another reason why they don't like it, because it doesn't invite the white man. You see what I'm saying? The Christian pastor will get angry at the thought of you taking a black man and him only serving you for 6 years, right? And then you treating him real well like a brother, but that white man or whatever heathen you got serving you, he is a slave and he'll accumulate no wealth off of you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, he'll get the wages that was agreed upon, no doubt. And you won't play games with his wages, because you do have it is a law that says don't oppress the stranger, you know what I'm saying? Don't oppress the heathen or whatever. You give him the wages that's agreed upon, but if he go out from you in the 7th year, you didn't give him a damn thing. You see what I'm saying? Except for his severance check, you know what I'm saying? His last check, you know what I'm saying? That's what he leave out with. While your brother, on the other hand, you see what I'm saying? Your brother, on the other hand, your brother was more like an indentured servant of yours, but that white man or whatever the damn heathen that you got up under you is your slave. You see what I'm saying? That's the slave. You ain't got to give him an inheritance. You ain't got to give him nothing. We didn't get nothing in their land, right? The only thing we get here is a paycheck. You see what I'm saying? While their neighbors did an amount of work for a specific amount of time, like the Chinese, you know what I'm saying, served them in indentured servitude for about 20 years, and that's how they got Chinatown. You see what I'm saying? That's how, the Irish, came here for a certain amount of time, you know what I'm saying, was oppressed for a while. Next thing you know, they got the police department. You see what I'm saying? They became overseers of Negroes. You see what I'm saying? The Italians served and were criminals and all that for a while. And next thing you know, they get the fire department. You see what I'm saying? That became their lot. You see what I'm saying? But your brother's lot is the accumulation of the things that you're going to give him in the year that he goes out free from you, while that heathen that is serving up under you ain't going to get jack but whatever wages that y'all agreed upon for him to have. Weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, whatever the damn case is. You see what I'm saying? And your Christian pastor will be angry at the thought of that, of you putting a black person over somebody white or over any other race. You see what I'm saying? And not only the Christian pastors, but them Christian black women too. They can't stand that. You see what I'm saying? They want everybody to be treated as an equal. In reality, what it means is their version of equality actually means that everybody else is treated way better than you. You see what I'm saying? They like the way things are right now because of the little carnal pleasures and the little trinkets and crumbs that they get. You see what I'm saying? He should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the thief be certainly found in his hand alive. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive. Means he done took a sheep, right? He didn't kill it or eat it, but he's got it. Whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. You see what I'm saying? Now, it says if he still got it, he shall restore double. But if he killed it and eat it or sold it, then he's to give 5 oxen for an ox, 4 sheep for a sheep. But if it's alive, then he's only to pay double. These are the judgments of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? This is how God judges everything. You want to learn how to judge a matter, go into the judgments of the Most High and see what He say about it. You see what I'm saying? If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field. Now, he took his ox, you see what I'm saying, and done put it in another man's vineyard to eat. You see what I'm saying? Of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. Even if he ate in the lesser parts of that man's vineyard, or fed his beast in the lesser parts of that man's vineyard, the payment back here is that he restored that with the best of his own. You see what I'm saying? This judgment right here, you see what I'm saying? This is wise stuff right here. These are the things that are going to make us wiser than every other nation on the face of the planet. That's why the Apostle Paul said that the saints shall judge the earth. You see what I'm saying? We're going to judge the world. If fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. You kindle a fire in a man's field, you ought to make restitution to pay back, what you have damaged. Common sense, you see what I'm saying? If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff, as we had already went over that, but let's skip down to verse 9. Because we had already went through with the ox, you know what I'm saying? When if he killed it and ate it or sold it, you know what I'm saying, then 5 for an ox, or if he with the sheep, 4 for a sheep. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and to whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or the sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt. Now, he then gave this, he's like, man, take care of my ox and my sheep and all that for me, right? Take care of my livestock. So, now he goes on a journey or whatever. Now he found out that, one of the oxen and everything, died. And it died or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he has not put in his hand unto his neighbor's goods. He's like, man, look, that the ass that you gave me, the donkey, man, it got away. You know what I'm saying? What can I say? I came out the other day, you know what I'm saying, and he was gone. He loosened himself from, I might not have tied him good enough, whatever the case was, you know what I'm saying, a little hole in the gate, right, and he got loose, right? Now, what's to happen here with the judgment of the Lord? He's like, man, my oath to the Lord that I didn't mess with your stuff, man, that I didn't take it, I didn't steal your stuff, you know what I'm saying? And the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. Means like he don't owe him anything. The dude's sure, you know what I'm saying? He's like, if he's sure that he didn't lay his hand to do stuff or whatever, he's like, I'm sure I didn't do it. Then old boy just got to take that as a loss. You see what I'm saying? You just got to take that L. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If it got stolen from him, he's like, man, it got stolen from you or whatever, then he is to pay it back, right? If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for a witness. Like, or say a wolf got hold of the sheep and ripped the sheep up. You say he needs to bring it back. Like, man, look, wolf got through, you know what I'm saying? And, drove the wolf off and everything, but, he still, the sheep ended up still dying, So he's to bring that for a witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. He done brought it for a witness, and dudes just got to be like, all right, man, he, like I said, just like before, he got to take that L. You know what I'm saying? And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt, or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. You see what I'm saying? If the owner, I'm going to read that again. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt, or die, the owner thereof being not with it, like man's like, man, let me borrow the sheep real quick, man. Let me shear him and everything and get that wool, you know what I'm saying? And so I can make a good, sweater or something, right? So, so my wife can make a sweater or whatever. But what ends up happening is, it was injured, the leg was, broken or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Or died, and it died in its care. You see what I'm saying? The owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. He's got to pay that back. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, when the sheep broke it, he wasn't paying attention to the sheep. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't really, monitoring that man's goods. But if the owner thereof be with it, now the owner's there also, right? While dude borrowed the sheep or whatever, the owner's there, he shall not make it good. You see what I'm saying? Because it got hurt or injured or died under the care of both of them, the owner and the man that was borrowed. You see what I'm saying? If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, or a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. What does this judgment stop? Just stop people from sleeping around. You see what I'm saying? Because whatever you sleep with is your wife. So now, knowing this, now he's thinking, well, if I sleep with her, I make her mine. So that'll stop him from wanting to deal with the sister like that. You see what I'm saying? If he doesn't have the intentions on making her his wife. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to skip down to verse 22. Exodus 22 and verse 22. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. You see what I'm saying? Because what do people like to do? Because the widow, they look at her, the old crazy lady, she, she ain't about that, pretty much despise her because she's an old woman, right? Or the fatherless child, he calling him a bastard and all of that, right? Which really, that's not really what the bastard really means right there, but, that's the way people be thinking though, right? If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword. And your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. What does the Christian church do to the old woman who just lost her husband? They'll drain her for all the little money that, you know what I'm saying, that she got, all the little life insurance money that she got off of her husband. They'll drain her for all of it. You see what I'm saying? That's afflicting the widow right there. You see what I'm saying? Fatherless children, right? The white man makes money off the fatherless children because the fatherless children is a child also that's not taught right. That's the child that they want to have, you know, what they call it from, what is it, preschool to prison pipeline or something like that. Elementary to the penitentiary. You see what I'm saying? They're afflicting the fatherless because the bulk of us are fatherless, and the Christian pastors, you see what I'm saying, are in league with that. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee. Now, who is the Lord's people? Right? The Lord's people is the 12 tribes of Israel, and it's not some, you know, not some white dude, white people, or whatever heathen race that's saying Yahuwah and all of that. Not them. You see what I'm saying? Not the ones that you want to graft in. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be unto him as an usurer. You see what I'm saying? What does this mean? With being a usurer, you're a man that loves to put interest on loans all the time. You see, no, you sit there and take the man's situation and his desperation and all of that, right? And you use that to your advantage. You know that man's poor as hell. He can't afford to pay his rent. And you know it, right? Say his rent $600. You say, yeah, I'll pay your rent for you. But you give me back, and then you sit there and set the damn interest rate at 60%. You see what I'm saying? You sit there and hit him with a 60% interest rate. Now he owes you way more than what the hell he borrowed. Now if he had a trouble paying that, now he's constantly in your debt. That's unlawful. And your Christian pastors they allow people to come with the check places and everything, check in advance, where you can get an advancement until payday, and then they put the interest rate of that advancement or whatever the hell they want. You see what I'm saying? Your Christian pastor won't rise against any of that. He won't rise against the schools that send you, that lend you money and all of that, but slap whatever interest rate that they want on it. He won't come against none of that. You see what I'm saying? Because they're paid by all these damn groups. That's why your Christian pastor drives a Benz. You see what I'm saying? Thou shalt not be unto him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. No interest. If he borrow $600 from you, have him pay back $600 to you. You see what I'm saying? Not $1,100. You see what I'm saying? These are God's judgments right here. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, right? You taking your neighbor's raiment, his luxurious garment, for collateral, right? Thou shalt deliver it unto him, by that the sun goeth down. If you use his luxurious garment as collateral for something, you are to get that garment back. Pay whatever it is that you owe, get that garment back, and have it to him before the sun goes down. You see what I'm saying? For that is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep. And it shall come to pass, when he crieth unto me, that I will hear, for I am gracious. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Thou shalt not delay to offer of the first of thy ripe fruits, to give of the first of it, and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy sons thou shalt give unto me. All the firstborn belong to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? You are the teacher. He's to be taught the laws, statutes, and commandments. Your oldest son, your firstborn son is to be taught. You see what I'm saying? He's to be taught the law, statutes, and commandments. Because he belongs to the Lord. He belongs to you, but he doesn't belong to you. You see what I'm saying? And his job is going to be to teach the younger. You see what I'm saying? You will be the head teacher. But right next to you, you know what I'm saying, will be that firstborn. Right? He will be in your stead when you're not there. You see what I'm saying? Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it me. And we know that judgment right there. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 22. We'll start at about, all right, no problem. We'll start at the 22 and 1. Deuteronomy 22 and 1. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray. You see this? You should not see it and hide thyself from them. You are required, according to the Most High's judgment, is to go get it. You see what I'm saying? If it's in your power to go get it, go get it. Because for one thing, that's your brother's money right there. You see what I'm saying? And hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. You go get it and bring it back to him. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, if he's not somebody that's close to you, or you don't know this dude at all, he's still your brother. You see what I'm saying? And this is talking about your people right here. You see what I'm saying? And you run out and you try and get, some heathens, ox or ass that's done escape from him. He can take you to his courts and charge you with that. And you try to do a good deed, what you thought was a good deed, and help him out. You see what I'm saying? You let his people go and get his stuff. You see what I'm saying? But you get your brother's stuff. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house. Either take it to your house if you don't know him or whatever. And it shall be with thee until thy brothers seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. In like manner thou shalt do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers which he hath lost. If he lost his wallet, he lost his, whatever the case. You see what I'm saying? You ought to take it and keep it, you see what I'm saying? Until your brother, and hold it for him until he can get it. Explain to him what happened, your stuff, found, this, found that, you know what I'm saying? And with all lost things of thy brothers, which he has lost, and thou hast found, thou shalt do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. If you see your brother's ox or ass, fall down in the ditch, what are you to do? Help him. Help him get it out. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. And we know this scripture right here. We know the things that this is talking about. A woman's not supposed to wear a man's clothes. A man is not supposed to wear a woman's clothes. You see what I'm saying? If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way in any tree, and you got a bird's nest, in any tree, right? Or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. You're not to take both of them together. You see what I'm saying? This is the judgment. These are the judgments of the Most High. This judgment right here this practice right here makes sure that things don't go extinct. You see what I'm saying? Because if you take the dam and the young both, you see what I'm saying? And what happens eventually? Because the white man operates with no wisdom, so now you have animals that go extinct. You see what I'm saying? Everything plays a part in the ecosystem. One thing goes extinct, and it causes an effect in something else. You see what I'm saying? But thou shalt anywise let the dam go. You let the mother bird go. Right? Will the Christian church teach you that this is the reason why the world has no answers for things that are going extinct? You see what I'm saying? They have no answers for it. And they'll come up with a save the whatever foundation. And you know what? Your Christian pastor will not tell you, he will not break these things down to you so that you'll be wise enough not to give to some dumb animal charitable fund. You see what I'm saying? He should be teaching you this right here so that you can operate, so you can have wisdom to understand how things get preserved. You see what I'm saying? But he can't teach you this because he is abhorred the Most High's judgments. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. When thou buildest a new house, now it says this is a judgment concerning a house. When you build a new house, right? Then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thy house. You make a battlement upon your roof. It's like a gate around the top part of your roof, where a person won't just fall off your roof and die. You see what I'm saying? These are the Most Highs. That this is the stuff that make us wise right here. You see what I'm saying? If any man fall from thence, thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy land which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. You see what I'm saying? You're not supposed to take orange seeds and sow them among the grape vineyard and all of that to try and make bigger grapes. You see what I'm saying? You're not to do that. You see what I'm saying? Because what you're actually doing is you actually taking from the nutritional value of certain things. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why, plants and stuff, this is why they have to make GMO stuff, because the white man, he ruins the earth. He does this thing and it has an effect to it. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why it's hard to get good fruit now. The seedless grapes and all of that. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Why is that? Right? Because the ox and the ass have two different characteristics to it. They have two different characters to them. You see what I'm saying? The ass has a mindset to go astray. You see what I'm saying? While the ox is more domesticated. And the scriptures say, how can two dwell together unless they be in agreement? You see what I'm saying? Not to plow with both of them together. These are the judgments of the Most High right here. You see what I'm saying? If you go into a field and you see the ox and ass together, you judge that matter. You say, hey, brother, you don't want to do that. According to the Most High law, you ain't supposed to plow with both of them together like that. You get ready to cause some damage to your field. Separate your cattle from cattle. You see what I'm saying? Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as a woolen and linen together. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself, which we already know that, you know what I'm saying, about the fringes and everything, right? If a man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, right, and give an occasion of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. He found her and found somebody that been up in that when she was supposed to be, not ever been with a man before, right? Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. What is that? The bloody sheep. You see what I'm saying? That to keep the bloody sheep as the token of her virginity. The token of the fact that she had not known a man before this man, because that was the agreement with the father. The father said, my daughter's chaste. She's been, chaste. She's had chastity her whole life. I was hard on her, you know what I'm saying, to get her ready for a husband, right? And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And what are they to do? They look and examine the cloth. You see what I'm saying? And the elders of that city shall take the man and chastise him. That man is to be punished. You see what I'm saying? And notice it said, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, that man. You see what I'm saying? The elders of the city are men. Men carry out the disciplinary actions in the nation of Israel. You see what I'm saying? Not women. That's why I said, if I'm going to see if I can find that scripture right quick. The scripture where it talks about that the son was a drunk and a gluttonous, and he wouldn't listen to mother or father, And what did it say? It said after they have laid hold on him, because who does this? You know, see what I'm saying? The Father, right? But after they done, you know, they were in agreement on this thing, what are they to do from there? They're to take him out into the elders of the city, and the men of that city shall stone him with stones, that he die. You see what I'm saying? That was the judgment, but we don't do this today. Because the Most High has given, you know, extended mercy and everything, and given us a chance to get these things right. You know what I'm saying? We don't we don't take and stone people today. You know what I'm saying? But that person will be delivered into the hands of the Lord. And a lot of the times, what ends up happening with a son like this is, he end up going to prison. You know what I'm saying? Or instead of him being stoned by the men, next thing you know, he done been shot 10 times. You see what I'm saying? The judgment of the Lord come that way. You know what I'm saying? Take another slight break. Damn. Right. Yeah. Let's go to, now these, like I said before, these are the judgments of the Most High. This ain't stuff that we making up ourselves. Let's go Deuteronomy 22 and 30. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Now, that was the same situation that was going on that the Apostle Paul had to check the church of Corinth about. You see what I'm saying? Where was this judgment found? Right here in Deuteronomy. You see what I'm saying? So what was the judgment behind that? The judgment behind that was death. You see what I'm saying? But what did Apostle Paul and them do? He said those that are without, God judged it, so they had to cast that man out. You see what I'm saying? Instead of them taking up stones themselves and killing that man. You see what I'm saying? Now, go to Deuteronomy 23 and verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Now, people got it twisted where, what bastard mean. They think it's, they think that a bastard is somebody that, don't have a father and all of that. You see what I'm saying? Somebody that's fatherless. But bastard actually means somebody that's rebelling against the commandments of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? It's purposely rebelling against them, that because, like either we're sons of the Most High or we're bastards. You see what I'm saying? The bastard doesn't want to be anything like his father. You see what I'm saying? If he has a father, a righteous father, right? Like, say, for instance, Samuel's sons were bastards. Samuel had two sons, two wicked sons, right? And those two wicked sons didn't want to be like their father, Samuel. You see what I'm saying? Who was a man that was, that was pleasing to the sight, that was pleasing in the sight of the Most High. A righteous man. You see what I'm saying? They didn't want to take on his ways, and that made them bastards. Esau was a bastard son of Isaac. He didn't want to be anything like Isaac. You see what I'm saying? He grew up around two righteous men and a righteous mother and still became wicked as hell. That was a bastard. Another example, Judah's sons, and Onan. You see what I'm saying? When he married the Canaanite woman, Judah was still righteous, right? And still, he repented of that later on, you know what I'm saying? But he was like unto, Jacob, who was also like unto Isaac, who was like unto Abraham. But his sons, and Onan, wanted nothing to do with, being the seed of Abraham like that. That made them bastards, and the Lord killed them. You see what I'm saying? A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Out of all three of them, the only children that actually made it into the congregation of the Lord was the youngest brother Shelah's sons. You see what I'm saying? But then after that, Judah also had Pharez and Zerah, and their children represented the house of Judah in the congregation of the Lord, while and Onan had no children, and they were bastards, and they were cut off. You see what I'm saying? An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. What was this talking about? Chinese and Japanese. You see what I'm saying? They're not to enter into the congregation of the Lord. Yeah, I know the Christian pastors, they don't like none of this type of stuff. The Christian church don't like any of this because they want to embrace and invite everybody. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, it ain't no Chinese and Japanese want to run around no black church any damn way. You see what I'm saying? But the spirit of the Christian church is to invite them if they do. You see what I'm saying? Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Now we're going to find out why. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, when you came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor, of Pethor, of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. What did they try and do? They hired him to put a curse upon us, and they also got us to eat of their sacrifices. You see what I'm saying? And they didn't come and offer bread and water and be like, man, I know y'all hungry and I know y'all thirsty, trying to be brotherly to us or nothing like that because they know that we was the Lord's people. No, they didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Their whole thing was on how to get control over us and to make us their slaves. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Most High put down this judgment right here. They're not to enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. You see what I'm saying? They are to serve us from the outside. They'll probably have their own land. You see what I'm saying? Quite sure they're going to have their own land, but their land is going to be producing for us. You see what I'm saying? We need rice. You know what I'm saying? We need this, we need that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be producing these things from afar. They will not be entering into the congregation of the Lord forever. These are the Most High's judgments right here. You see what I'm saying? Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Because you can't curse what the Most High had already blessed. You see what I'm saying? He couldn't curse it. But what he was able to do was to get us to sit down and eat of the sacrifices of the Moabites. You see what I'm saying? The sacrifice and commit fornication with the daughters of Moab. Because we also had a journey through their land. You see what I'm saying? He was able to get them to do that to us. Well, we did that to ourselves. We put the curse upon ourselves. You see what I'm saying? They can only curse what we're in agreement with as a nation. Whatever we're in agreement, because, see, a lot of people think that the curses came only in slavery. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, the curses are always hung over our heads. And to what degree we were in agreement with the curses is what was manifest, you know what I'm saying, in our nation. You see what I'm saying? Blessing and the cursing always hovered over the heads of us as a nation. Just like it does now. And, you know, and whenever we throw off judgment and all of that, that's how we start to get all messed up. Now, we'll go to that's also what a prophet has to do. He has to have the judgments of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Now this is what starts to happen when we start to throw off the judgments of the Most High. Now tell me, does this part sound familiar to you? I'm going to go to Amos chapter 5. And we'll start at like verse 14. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live. And so the Lord, the God of hosts, shall be with you, as ye have spoken. Hate the evil and love the good. And establish judgment in the gate. These are the things that we're supposed to do. Establish judgment in the gate. Now, how are we going to establish judgment if we don't know the judgments of the Most High? You see what I'm saying? We can't. That is what makes the gate fall. It may be that the Lord God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. Wherefore the Lord God of hosts, the Lord, thus saith, wailing shall be in all streets, and they shall say in all the highways, alas, alas. And they shall call the husbandman to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. And in all vineyards shall be wailing. For I will pass through thee, saith the Lord. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into to the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. If you dodged one thing and then something else got you, what good is that, right? These are the things that start to happen. This is the reason why we're in the situation that we are in as a nation right now. You see what I'm saying? Because we cast off the Most High's judgment. So what does the Lord do? He put us into the hands of the white man. You see what I'm saying? That's who he puts us in the hands of, and they carry out, the Most High's judgments, and also, on us, and also, we carry out the judgments upon each other. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why that church was shot up. Because according to the Most High's judgments, they're not supposed to be embracing in the congregation any heathens. Now a heathen comes through and they accept him as a brother. Against what the Most High says. So what does the Most High do? He uses that devil to judge and kill 9 people inside that church. You see what I'm saying? That's what happened. Because we're not supposed to be congregating with heathens. We're not supposed to be doing that. Now, let's see. Let's go back now to 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians and chapter 6. And we're going to go back with the first verse. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints? See, there we go. So what judgments was he telling us to get? The judgments that's in what we call the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying? That the Christian church say is done away with. But like I was saying, the Apostle Paul is giving this commandment. You're giving these commands and these judgments in the New Testament. So are we supposed to know the judgments today? Yeah, we are. Let me read on. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? You see this? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Because like I said, the world is going to be judged by us. According to what judgments, the judgments and everything that I just went over, it's going to be judged according to that. You see what I'm saying? That's how we're going to judge the earth, and that's how we're going to be judging. We judge matters between brother and brother. You see what I'm saying? We are the Isupk, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahan. Pay your tithes, support the men that's in this truth, that's laboring, support your troops. Don't forget supporting the military, the United States military and all that. Support your troops that are in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. And with that being said, Shalom.